I always taught you, you know the arrow of time? There's a beginning and an ending. So here's your life. Alpha and Omega. Time is like water, the waters of life. We just drank it. Water starts here, and as you grow older, the water is pouring out this end. Life is leaving you, and the older you get, this is only how much water you have left, this is only how much water, meaning this is only how much time you have left. This is it, this is closed. You were born, you're going to die. Time, in an arrow of time, in counting, is like water. If you are here, this is how much life you have left. This is how much water you have left. This is how much time you have left. And it's pouring out over here. And finally, when you get here and you have no more time, your biological system cannot function and hold electrical current anymore, and it's over with. Life, birth, life, and death. An immortal started out with the same line, Alpha, and they closed the end. There is no ending. And they contain time. And they contain their water, their spirit, if you wish. And in the containment and the ceasing of time, they get to observe time. Observe it. They can see the past, present, the future, because they've contained time. This is what legendary masters do, the great immortals. And they can do it in a physical body, as is celebrated by the life and teachings of the masters of the Far East and those that interfere with your earth. The difference is they have mastered time and you rely on it. How many of you understand? So be that. What did they do to seize time? Before we understand that, we have to understand that the personality is housed within the model of the earth and a model of life that is responsive and contained. No matter how much you have, how little you have, your reality is contained. It's just flexible, but it never goes outside the earth. And it certainly never goes outside of time either. It works within those functions. So your mind could be very big on the earth level, but that still does not stop time. That's not the answer. You have read about your earth. Oh, that's very bad. Now, this is your earth. What does our earth look like when we talk about quantum variance or all potentials existing simultaneously? That there are you living in other worlds, but in different time frames. The multi-world is connected like beads. All these are Earths. They never collide because they're separated by a modulation of frequency. Remember that term. They never interfere, but they're all happening right where you are in the Great Hall, right where you are, all over the world. There's other worlds happening within the dynamic space, but not in your time, in their time. But it's all happening at the same time. Some like to refer to it as dimensions. Whatever you want to call it. You're not allowed to go there because that's not your reality. This is your reality. These are separated because they are actually frequency specific, not here, but they're working on a different frequency. That's why they're invisible, but nonetheless still exist. So, this is the Milky Way galaxy. There's the center. It's brilliant, this black disk in this galaxy on its side. Light coming out, and even below it. So there's a below. On one of its arms out here is your Earth. Way out here away from the action. And here's also your sun and all the lesser planets, although you can't even see your universe, but it's right, your solar verse is right here. This is just an exaggeration, it's not that big at all. You're just out here on the tip. We can't even see you. Now that's being insignificant. You see? Out here in this galaxy, part of the Milky Way galaxy, you can't even see your sun from here. Looking at this, you would never see you. This galaxy spins. So as your arm moves with the galaxy, here you are, spinning. And while the galaxy is in motion, you're in motion around your sun, like a top. The tilt of the Earth, where the sun is fixed. And this disk moves up and down. It tilts every 25,000 years. There is an alignment, has everything to do with the multiverse, because it is ascertained that in a 25,000 year multiverse cycle, that the greatest work in creation will be achieved 25,000 years. As this tilts and the plane of the Earth wobbles and spinning, when it has taken 25,000 years to move in a circular motion, this arm that you're on riding this out here, 25,000 years. And then when your Earth gets level with the disk, is in line with the sun, it's in line with the planets, that is in line with the Milky Way disk. You have ended a 25,000 year cycle. The Earth has not been aligned with the Milky Way, the center of the Milky Way galaxy, central disk, for 25,000 years. It aligns itself on December 21st of this year. That's the alignment. This is mega expansive knowledge. And your Earth will tilt right on the plane, on that elliptical plane that will line up with that disk. And that would be the first time in 25,000 years that's happened. It's called the long cycle. The multiverse has been doing the same thing. We are in line with an interlocking layer of Milky Ways. And they're phased in and out of one another, so they don't collide. You know? That their atomic structure and the phasing of their protons and electrons are not the same phase as the accompanying universe that's invisible, but is right here. That's what keeps them secret, or separate frequency. Now, all of these other Earths are in their galaxy too. They're not mythical, they're real. And they have been following a pattern too. Now, this Milky Way and the one that's closest to this phase in frequency come closest into your world December 21st, 2012. And they come closest together by almost oscillating at the same wavelength. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything, but I'm going to tell you of things you will see in the days ahead shortly. This phasing of this other universe that's out of sync with this one, that's why we can inhabit the space at the same time, different frequency. And we're lining up with everything. That's the end. That is Omega. That's the end. Before it starts again. Now, my channel is haunted by two images that she finally shared with her staff. She continues to see the Mayan calendar and the particle collider at CERN, what they both look like. You should check them out if you're brave. Why does she keep seeing that? Because the particle accelerator at CERN looks just like the Mayan calendar. Now, any self-respecting scientist already knows this is happening. They do, and they can't help themselves. They want to turn on the accelerator. Actually, and there is one in Australia, and there's one in China. They want to turn them on. Why do they want to do that? Because they want to bombard. They want to break those particles that prevent you from phasing. They call it Stargate. It's not the first time these scientists have done this. For the name, for God, of exploration, I wholly agree. Now, what will happen is that you're going to have a collision of multiverses together, some strange phasing. And it's important that it is at the end of the cycle. And what you're about to see When I told you that there would be UFOs that look like comets in the sky, but they make no sound, and that all manifested, what you're about to see shortly are lights coming into the sky that will look like comets or lit up debris. What you're actually seeing is that wall breaking down, a dimension appearing. The people at CERN will disappear, just like the Anasazi, just like the ancient Egyptians, just like those ancient people of Easter Island, and the place of beautiful cedars, and the Mayan people, and other people. Where did they go? What happened to that town that the whole town disappeared in China? Where did it go? To the new universe. Where are all these missing children going? Home. Now, they just want to break the most fragile point, to make a walkthrough of another Earth and another solar system that's more advanced here than here. This Earth is the most advanced it will be. It has finished its 25,000-year cycle. Now, we are absorbed into the new Earth that will take us on because it's more advanced. By the way, this has always happened. So you're about to see lights start to spray across the sky. All hours, make no sound. You'll look and you'll see heat waves, but there's no heat. It's just warping of time. The Earth will get volatile because of this alignment. Already, its magnetic pole is going further towards Siberia. Remember when I told you that the pole will be going that way and the magnetism and where you are will be going north? That's what's happened already. And it's traveling the magnetic pole at a most alarming rate, just in case you didn't know. And the polar ice is melting faster than you can pour yourself a drink of water. The sun now has this alignment with all of its planets around it lined up, and it's lined up with the solar disk, and it's going crazy. And it's going to get violent. And one gigantic X10 CME will do you in electronically. Won't kill you unless you're in the air or out in the water somewhere. And so civilization goes into the dark again, to the primitive state, to, you know, fire and kerosene and, yeah. And if it stays, power stays out a really long time, it's like starting over again. So the Earth is going to go back into the real dark ages. Now, where did the Mayan people go? Why did the people on Easter Island make all the statues that we're looking up? Why did Pharaoh, the original Egyptians, go to all that trouble to make all those monstrosities of themselves? Why? Because they had to leave an image of themselves so they could go to fill in harmony. Oh. Turn to your neighbor and tell them that. A mannequin. That's why they made them. And they were looking up. They had to leave in water of time here their occupancy so they could go. All these elaborate ruins are just filling in an occupancy place. Remember when I told you this evening that the urgency of the universe, of nature, is to fill in, to have balance? You can't leave and just say goodbye, just like that. There must be something of you remaining. I'm sure you're going to figure this out. Now, we're going to have massive solar ejections. That's just going to affect your electronic health. That kills people only if they're in the hospital, if they're in the sky, if they're in the city, and they can't get out. How many people in the large cities are going to get out and start walking and they have no food or water? How do you think their temper is going to be? And it's already civilized. Have you ever been there? Well, I was scorned there. Me. Scorned by a pissant. Do you know how nice they're going to be when the lights go out? And this storm was a barometer of that. So, it's not like the world is going to end, but it's going to hit its 25,000-year cycle. It's going to collide intentionally by its scientists with the very world which your future that you've been working on exists. And that is a good thing.